Morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Anil Tamirano, and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Empowering Teachers Worldwide. A few days ago, I recorded a video talking about embedding formative assessment in a differentiated language classroom. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about some strategies that you can use for pre and ongoing assessment. So, we have some formal and informal pre-assessment strategies. And informal pre-assessment strategies are unstructured and they don't really aim at collecting data in a systematic way. They are simply informative but very useful. Some examples are, for example, students self-reporting of where they believe they are relative to the knowledge, the understanding, or the skills. Remember, if you watched the previous video, the KUDs. This allows them to develop self-reflection and assessment skills and can be done really quickly and with minimal intrusion in the instruction. There is a disadvantage to this, and it is that this happens at class level rather than individual level. So it's a little bit difficult to make an accurate reading of the status of individual students. So it may not be too precise. You can also use KWL charts or other organizers, hand signals, response cards, and your own observations. KWL charts are some of my favorites. And they tell you you can use them at the beginning of a unit and then at the end of the unit, and they help you find out what the students know about the topic, what they want to learn about the topic, and at the end of the lesson, you can check what they have learned about. This is the very basic layer. You can add another layer, and when you ask them to say what they know or what they think they know about the topic or the concept of the lesson, you can ask them how they learned about this. When they say what they want to learn about the topic or concept, how do they want to learn is a good question to find out what their preferred modes of learning are. And when once they have finished and they say what they have learned about the topic, you can set up a kind of game with groups challenging each other with questions about the topic. Um, Also, you can use response cards, and they are very simple. You pose a question to which the students respond holding up a card with a prepared option on it. They can have three cards to select from: yes, for example, A, B, or C, or two, yes and no. And they hold up the cards, and you have a quick view of the proportion of correct answers. Also, your own observations. While they work, you can have a look at what they are doing, how they are going about doing an activity, their ways of work, their skill levels, and this information should inform planning for upcoming lessons. Also, you can have windshield checks. This is fun. You can have three different pictures. Clear, a clear windshield, I understand it. Not so clear windshield, I understand it for the most part, but some of the things are still unclear. And a muddy windshield, I don't understand this yet. Then we have some more formal pre-assessment strategies. And for example, we have these structured moments when instructional time is given up with the aim of gathering data at individual level across a class. Most strategies that are useful for pre-assessment are useful for formative or ongoing assessment. The key difference stems from the way instructional time is affected and the level at which information is obtained, that is, from the whole class or from individual students. We have systematic observations and interviews that we can have with individual students. also observing them as they work. Mm. And you can record this information on checklists or guides. Um, we can also use journal entries and writing prompts. For example, you pose a question and students respond in writing. For example, you can have ask them to write for 1 minute about how familiar they are with the writing genre. Mhm. Um, we can use the show and tell. You pose a question and students illustrate and explain what they know about the question. Mhm. They don't answer in writing, but with a picture, a sketch. This is especially useful with students who find writing difficult, but who know something about the topic or the skill. We can use quizzes with short answers or open answers, and we can also use interest surveys. Mhm. There are lots of these on the internet that you can adapt to your own learning context. And you give them to the students, and they rank the options according to their interests. You can also use Freyer diagrams or Freyer models. Mhm. In the center, you write a concept or a topic for an upcoming lesson, and then you ask the students to share their current knowledge in the four quadrants. And these are labeled definition, facts or characteristics, examples, and non-examples. Another possible model is this one. Mhm. My definition, synonyms and antonyms, a picture, or my word in a sentence. This is um, really useful for lower levels, perhaps. So, assessment of this kind is only useful if it succeeds in revealing what the students know, understand, and are able to do. Even though it's not imperative to differentiate every assessment, it's wise to consider the fact that it might be very short-sighted to differentiate instruction to support student success and then neglect to attend to students' learning differences on formative and summative assessments that are key to successful learning. Now, I'd like to make it clear that differentiating an assessment doesn't suggest creating different assessments, but rather ensuring access of opportunity to each and every student to demonstrate their learning. In differentiating assessment, one attribute should always remain unchanged across all versions of the assessment: the knowledge, the understanding, and the skill for which the student is responsible. It's even okay if everyone doesn't have all the same questions, so that the challenge matches the student development as long as both versions of the assessment measure the same knowledge, understanding, and skills. This is really very, very important. Now, as regards ongoing or formative assessment, although a predominant goal of ongoing assessment is gathering data to improve instruction, another important and related goal is the use of assessment results for teacher reflection. In fact, Hattie proposes that feedback is more powerful when it is sought by the teacher about his or her teaching than by the student about his or her learning. As with pre-assessments, ongoing or formative assessments need to happen with the students, not to the students. Mhm. And these are some of the reasons. A key goal of schools should be to develop autonomous learners. That is, young people who are confident and competent in identifying goals or purposes of learning. Also, finding and using suitable resources and experiences. that can help them achieve the goals. uh, Monitoring their progress toward those goals, adjusting the learning process as necessary to revise or accomplish the goals, and also to help them verify the degree to which the goals are met or exceeded, helping them become more aware of goals and criteria for success when they discuss goals with peers and also provide feedback on each other's work. Now, the classroom assessment cycle provides a powerful vehicle for teaching learners the skills of autonomous learning. And here on this diagram, on this slide, um, you can see how that might work as we help students develop awareness of learning goals, track their progress towards those goals, seek and use feedback to bolster learning, and appraise their success at key points along the way. Helping students develop attitudes and skills necessary for autonomy as learners is also beneficial because it leads us to be more metacognitive about the teaching and learning process. Now, um, many formats, again, that are appropriate for pre-assessing students' readiness and interest are also useful for ongoing assessment. However, it's always a good idea to develop one's own strategies and adapt them to our own context. And it's important to recall that virtually all student work, including class practice and homework, can be used as formative assessment. Because the format, remember, is not as important as the intent for and the use of what students produce. So we can use again graphic organizers, we can use exit cards or tickets, cards, entry cards, POE exercises, the weather report, homework, and quizzes. Let's have a look at some of them. Um, for example, we have, well, graphic organizers, of course, we know how to use them. The students individually complete a graphic organizer on a topic or question, and then you review or assess their work according to pre-established criteria. We have also entry and exit cards or tickets. Mhm. For example, entry cards here. Um, it's a, it's a way of asking students to respond to a posted question as they enter the room and turn it in as the class begins. You can use QR codes that they can scan, or you can display the question on the board. Um, then you have 3, 2, 1 cards. This is a kind of exit ticket, exit card, in which a student responds to questions or to prompts that ask for 3 responses, then 2, then 1. Mhm. It can be, for example, 3 things that you learned in today's lesson, 2 questions you still have about the topic, and 1 resource that they can use to find more information about today's topic. Mhm. For example, the weather report is similar to the windshield screen. You have a sunny day because they understood everything. You have a few high clouds when there is something, some doubts there, or you have fog and smog when they haven't understood much. Yes? As with pre-assessments, ongoing formative assessments can be differentiated in the mode of expression, in the working conditions, in the application to particular interests, lots of things. And what cannot change, and this is really very important, are the goals the assessment is designed to measure. Okay, this is all for today. In our next video, I will touch upon a really critical issue: assessment, grading, and differentiation. So, if you need to contact me, you can put a comment here, or you can find me on social media and also in my blog. In this YouTube channel, you will also find more things, more information, more videos about differentiated instruction and assessment for learning. So, this is all for today. See you in the next one. Bye.